the death of everything, but also the beginning.
Why are you here, you forgettable loser?
People have filled the world, yet turned it into a void. The only hope of salvation lies in ruin.
Did you work in a zoo? Because that's one huge pile of shit you're pushing around.
That is the best line of dialogue Sho has had in this entire game, dude.
So, how'd that turn out for you, Dad? It doesn't matter now that you're dead as a doornail, does it? You wanted the world destroyed, huh? Isn't that right, you worthless pest? Fine, I'll do it. This shitty world with its shitty people and shitty lives will disappear, and I'll be the only thing left. After all, if the Father's fallen into darkness, then the sun must rise. Just kidding.
Was that even a pun? That wasn't even a joke. What do you mean, JK ha ha ha? You didn't say anything even remote. It wasn't even a bad joke. It just wasn't a joke. You just made a bad statement. It's a pun on the word sun, S-U-N, rising. I hate this game, dude.
What nonsense.
What?
These constructs can only remain active within my red fog. Even then, they can only do so for a limited amount of time. If you have time to waste with worthless sentiment, hurry up and complete your preparations.
Ha! You've got no sense of humor. Keep up your whining and I'll have to kill you too.
Such impudence. Take them. They are your pawns.
They're pretty well made. Fine, I've got the power I borrowed from you too. So now there's no way I could lose. Well then, time to make like a tree and turn over a new leaf or whatever.
A puppet version of a puppet. I'll make sure you get the job done this time.
Now let's begin. For the sake of his world.
Yo, that was a sick little intro. Oh, the Shadow Operatives lab. Let's go. Are these little, like, little reboot chair or, like, little, like, checkup chairs for Aigis and Labrys side by side? I hope that's what the purpose of these chairs are. That's so cute. The two sisters sitting down in their little, like, plugging in their wires, like, all right, let's do a diagnostic check together. I hope that's it. You hate Sho, but you're okay with Minazuki? I guess I hate Sho's jokes because I hate puns in general, usually. But, like, I don't really, like, hate Sho as a character, but I don't really like him that much. Like, Sho feels very, like, not fleshed out as a character. He's kind of just there for me, right? Like, he doesn't serve all that much purpose other than giving Minazuki existence and pushing Minazuki forward as a character. He definitely has got nothing, as far as, like, characters introduced in these spin-offs, he's got nothing on Labrys. Like, they did amazingly well with building up Labrys as a character and making her, like, endearing me to her and making her a character. Minazuki, not as good as Labrys, but definitely interesting. I really like his circumstance, and I definitely find him less annoying than Sho. And he's just in general cooler than Sho, and they give him a bit more build up as a character because he has that moment with Narukami at the end where Narukami is like, don't you see, Minazuki? Your power doesn't come from solitude, it comes from your bond with Sho, etc., etc. Like, so definitely Minazuki, cool in my books. I like Minazuki as a character. Sho, couldn't care less, really. He kind of only exists, in my eyes, to make Minazuki work as a character because Minazuki is a better character. But they both have nothing on Labrys. Labrys, top tier. May 5th afternoon, I am at the Shadow Operatives lab.
I finished going through Labrys' personality module and control links.
Fukasan's voice echoes through the machinery-lined room where she works as the operator. It seems that it'll be a little more time until she'll be finished with her work.
I knew we could count on you.
I'm sorry that I asked you for such a big favor.
Oh no, I couldn't possibly stand by after something so important happened. But, is it really all right for me to be doing this? Aren't you all part of some kind of police organization now?
There's no need to be concerned. Even now that we've become the Shadow Operatives, this lab belongs solely to the Kirijo group.
Labrys also has one of the best backstories in Persona. Labrys is just one of the best characters in Persona. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. If you take into account all the characters of 3, 4, and 5, Labrys, most likely, hitting my top 10. She might be low on the top 10, I'm not sure. Of course, like, I'm really biased right now because I just finished playing Arena, so it's really fresh on my mind. I'm gonna have to, like, sit on Labrys as a character for a little while to know how I really feel about her after I've had some time away from the immediate source material and all. But, like, Labrys, probably gonna end up in my top 10. I don't think she'll make it into a top 5, but top 10? I'd be shocked if she was less than 10th place. Like, she's great. The Shadow Operatives. A special unit under the direct supervision of the National Police Agency, organized to deal with supernatural cases that the normal police would be unable to respond to. In other words, cases dealing with shadows. This is one of the laboratories under the management of the Shadow Operatives. The purpose of this place is mainly to analyze evidence gathered in shadow-related cases, analysis of shadow matters for scientific understanding, and planning operations. Another objective is the maintenance, inspection, and service for anti-shadow weapons such as myself. Oh, so I was about to say, we're looking at this probably from Labrys' perspective, and it sounds like it's either Aegis or Labrys, since, you know, referring to herself as an anti-shadow weapon. I assume it's Labrys, but it could be... Actually, no, it looks like it's Aegis, because it says, she says right here, I periodically undergo maintenance here. Labrys never would have gone under maintenance before now. Since I'm a member of the Shadow Operatives and am classified as a weapon due to my mechanical nature, I periodically undergo maintenance at this facility. Okay, so we're looking through Aegis' perspective right now. It would have been neat if we started in Labrys' perspective, though, after the first Arena story, but this is good, too. Directly after the inauguration of the Shadow Operatives, Mitsuru-san had a state-of-the-art packing case prepared to transport me. However, the one slumbering within this case is my sister, who is also our new teammate, Labrys, the 5th-generation anti-shadow suppression weapon.
I finished investigating Labrys' mobility systems. All I have to do now is reboot her OS and perform some final checks.
Thank you. How is she?
She'd sustained some heavy structural damage, so I was worried, but thankfully none were critical.
Sorry, getting some water. Since my sister had been forced to push herself far beyond her limits during the events of the other day, her entire body had taken serious damage. I'm glad that she's okay. Fukasan's words caused me to sigh with relief.
I see. And what did you recover from her memory?
Oh no, Labrys is running Windows 95? She was activated in the year 2000, right? Like, Windows 95 is probably fine. That's probably, like, the best thing at the time for her to be running. We'll have to update her now.
I'm sorry. I searched through it, but I found no records that would lead to finding the one behind what happened. If we want to pursue him any further, we'll have to wait for a report from intelligence. But it seems that will still take some time.
I see.
I see Mitsuru-san tighten her fist with that quiet utterance. The culprit is someone capable of manipulating the data in my sister's memory. The possibility that they would make the mistake of leaving a trace leading to themselves is extremely low. Even when one knows the outcome, people often feel indignant when the last bit of hope is crushed. It's understandable. Our ability to find out who kidnapped my sister has been completely stopped. That word is stopped now.
Ugh. Then we have no clues to go on.
Don't be so hasty. We might get new leads from intelligence, right?
Ever since that attempted airplane hijacking, we've learned that the Public Safety Division has been making some disquieting moves. If we don't make a move soon, there's no telling what they'll do to take advantage of the situation. We have to find a lead before they do anything.
Though Akihiko-san has known Mitsuru-san for a long time, Mitsuru-san's expression remains stiff as he tries to console her. But that's only natural. The Shadow Operatives are still in a delicate position with regards to where we stand within the National Police Organization. As a seemingly suspicious group founded by an outsider and dealing with crimes outside the capabilities of the normal police force, we often are met with cold stares from the people who should be our fellow investigators when we're dispatched on cases. The logic of such actions eludes me, but I cannot pretend that they do not exist.
I understand how you feel, Mitsuru-san, but we must solve one problem at a time. That is why we have gathered here today.
You're right. I'm sorry. Please work with me here in reviewing what information we already know.
Mitsuru-san implores us for assistance. Our gathering here at the lab today isn't just to hear about the results of Fuka-san's tests on my sister. We've come to share and review the information we have, to inspect the clues as closely as possible, to get the culprit as quickly as possible.
The person behind this case first stole Labrys, the 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, while she was in transport.
Yes. The hijacking of the airplane you were on was a diversion used to conceal the theft of my sister, after which she was transported to Inaba.
Correct. The hijackers were subdued and captured, but we have reason to believe that their minds were under some kind of control.
Those who hijacked the airplane and transported the case had no memory of taking part in the crime. They did not recognize one another, had nothing in common, and were all ordinary citizens with no prior criminal records. They did, however, all claim in their testimonies that they saw red eyes. Though their interrogations are still ongoing, it seems that it won't be long before they are released. With all these points taken into consideration, it becomes apparent that this is no ordinary crime.
The culprit waited until he arrived in Inaba to turn Labrys on and fiddle with her memory. And then he threw her into the TV world, right?
Where one's heart and memories manifest themselves. As a machine, Labrys was able to control these memories in great detail. In other words, the enemy used her in order to set a trap for us.
When we entered the television world in pursuit, we defeated her shadow and made indirect contact with the culprit.
We were all there, I guess?
That person revealed that his goal was to steal our personas by making us fight each other, which would weaken our hearts and turn our personas to shadows.
Who are you guys talking to? You were all there. You all know this. I played the story mode, I know.
Once he'd accomplished that, he would combine them all so we could have even more powerful shadows.
Everyone falls silent. The mysterious person's motive was to gather and unify shadows. This is all too similar to something that those of us gathered here will never forget.
Shuji Ikutsuki.
The culprit's speech pattern is consistent with Ikutsuki-san's mannerisms. His inability to use a persona matches him as well.
But that's not possible.
That's right. We've confirmed Ikutsuki's death.
Or maybe there's someone out there besides Ikutsuki who still thinks the same way he did.
If so, then the world we strive for is still far away.
Mitsuru-san sounds as if she is in agony. Shuji Ikutsuki. 3 years ago, he became fascinated with the Fall and tried to bring about the end of the world using shadows. To Mitsuru-san, he is also the adversary that robbed her of her precious father.
Yamagishi, when Labrys awakens, can you give her a summary of the case from 3 years ago? I'd like her to know what went on while she was sealed.
I understand.
Can't you just stick that data into her memory?
If we did that, it would just become a piece of data to her. She needs to be told about it in order for her mind to understand what happened.
She's human through and through, huh?
Also, I noticed something when I was checking her memories. The makeup of Labrys' memory field is slightly different from Aigus's. Besides the memory area that she normally accesses, there seems to be a sub-network of some sort.
She has 2 memory networks?
I think it was probably used to incorporate the feedback from her sibling units, but I still don't know for sure. That's why I believe it's safer to tell her in person.
All right. I'll let you tell her however you see fit. Regarding Ikutsuki, I'm pressuring staff to hurry and review the information, including the newly discovered quarantine server at Ergo Research. We never knew about the server in question before now, because it had been cut off from the group's network. It most likely has information that normally would have never left Ergo Research, such as data on top-secret experiments.
Ikutsuki-san could be involved in this case. Mitsuru-san's worry and irritation may be because she senses that possibility. We can all understand the pain she must be in.
By the way, what was the logic behind that whole midnight channel thing?
It's still unknown, but we'll have to send people to Inaba again. We're going to hold a meeting at headquarters tomorrow to discuss countermeasures.
Why did that alarm sound like an old school, like, Disney alarm? Like you would hear it in, like, a little skit involving Donald Duck and Goofy. Did you, like, it sounded like a little, like, play horn going off. Suddenly, an alarm that notifies us of abnormalities goes off and reverberates throughout the lab. Mitsuru-san quickly uses a nearby control panel to contact the staff within the facility.
What's going on?
The surveillance system detected a rise in shadow readings. It's currently stabilizing around a level 3 alert, located in that town of Inaba.
Who on earth are you? Is this Mitsuru's maid? You have such sick anime hair. Why have we only started to interact with you now?
What?
Looks like he's shown up already. That saves us the trouble of having to puzzle this out.
Yu-san and his friends are in danger. Mitsuru-san, please give the order to dispatch us.
All right, we'll leave at once. Yamagishi, leave Labrys to Kikuno and accompany us.
I understand. Well then, I leave the rest to you, Kikuno-san.
Understood. Lady Mitsuru, everyone, please be careful.
More of Kikuno? One of Mitsuru-san's personal domestic assistants, or should I say maids, Kikuno-san answers. Personal domestic assistants? Is she also a robot? You make it sound like she's a robot. She looked normal. Kikuno-san and Mitsuru-san have a stronger bond than that of any ordinary servant and master, and she is another of the Shadow Operatives. Okay, so she's not a robot. Her words catch my attention for some reason. Please be careful. A very trivial expression of concern for our safety. Brushing it off as common courtesy would be simple, but I feel that she may be sensing something unusual regarding the situation that awaits us there. What could be causing this unease? Does Mitsuru-san know?
Oh, hold on, I guess.
As I'm trying to decide on whether or not to look deeper into Mitsuru-san's state of mind, Fuka-san gets up from her operator's seat and beckons me over.
What is it? If we can put Labrys aside for a moment, are you going to be alright without having any maintenance done on you, I guess?
What do you mean?
I read the documents on your new equipment. At first I assumed it was referring to that large gun, but it's actually...
that. True. There have been no tests confirming that it is capable of being used in an actual combat situation. But we face a powerful foe this time.
Is it even possible? If even one thing were to go wrong...
Fuka-san's face clouds as she looks at me. I can't be confident that I'll be alright, and I'm unable to tell her a pleasant lie to calm her down. In any case, I only pray that a situation that requires me to use my new equipment never arises. Ooh, what is this about? Interesting. Both of us are tense as we prepare to depart.
Milady, a change of clothes has been laid out in your car.
I see. Thank you.
I've also prepared Akihiko-san's favorite protein drink, and Fuka-san has been preparing a playlist suitable for a road trip in her room.
Yo, more Kikuno and spin-offs? Let's go.
Huh?
That will be all, Kikuno.
Very well. Pardon me.
As expected from Kikuno-san, she is amazingly considerate, as a personal assistant should be, but she can be too thoughtful at times. We learned this for ourselves when she came to accept us as people who are precious to Mitsuru-san.
Let's start this over, shall we? Shadow Operatives, let's mobilize.
Thanks to Kikuno-san, the tension in the air subsides a bit, but we cannot allow our attention to wander just now. Upon completing our preparations for departure, we immediately make our way to Inaba.